Dr. Stick, sorry. Oh, that's my good partner there, we boy. Dr. Stick, Mervyn Botro. Happy birthday to you, man. Lots of love coming from Julie London. Yeah, man. Happy birthday to you, alright? Let's cross over to the evening news coming up right now on DBS.
It's always a better choice. My one and only station.
DBS Radio. Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, the 47th anniversary of independence has officially opened. In the news from the region, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister calls for an end of the U.S. military presence near Venezuela. Internationally, Russia and China regret UN Security Council's failure to delay snapback sanctions on Iran. The details of these stories and more are coming up next.
It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life is pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things going. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
And welcome back. A special good evening to the listeners of Acoustic Worship Radio. First off, Acting Prime Minister Dr. Irvin McIntyre has urged the Dominicans to embrace this year's Independence season as a time for unity and collaboration. His call was made during the official opening of the Independence celebrations, which took place this afternoon at the State House Conference Center. This year, Dominica is celebrating 47 years of independence under the theme 47 Years of Progress and Purpose.
Progress without purpose can lose its meaning. But when guided by purpose, by a commitment to people, to equity, to national building, progress gets its true meaning. Progress is about people. And this is the firm belief of this government. We have always acted with the objective of people development at the forefront of our policies and decision making. But I wish to remind us that government alone cannot carry the weight of nation building. Our progress requires partnership between government and citizens, between the private sector and civil society, between communities and the diaspora. Independence calls us to unity and collaboration. It is a combined effort of citizens who share their success. And when we stand together, when we collaborate and pool our talents, there is no limit to what Dominica can achieve. Let this independence season strengthen our patriotism. Let us wear our national colors with pride, sing our songs with joy, and honor our cultural traditions. But above all, let us commit to working together hand in hand to continue shaping the future of our beloved nation.
And that was Acting Prime Minister Dr. Irvin McIntyre. Minister for Culture Greta Roberts emphasized that Dominica has experienced significant developments over the years since gaining independence in 1978.
This year's independence theme, 47 Years of Progress and Purpose, reminds us that the journey of nation building is ongoing. It calls us to reflect on where we have come from, to celebrate how far we have reached, and to renew our pledge to carry this country forward with courage, creativity, and compassion. Undoubtedly, for these 47 years, Dominica has indeed walked a path of progress and purpose. Each decade has brought with it new challenges and new opportunities. We have invested in our communities, strengthened our democracy, and built institutions that safeguard our independence and identity. Our roads, schools, hospitals, and housing developments stand as symbols of how far we have come. Today, major projects are taking shape across the island: the international airport, the marina, the cable car project. But, brothers and sisters, I think even more important than the progress we have made in infrastructure is the undaunted spirit of our people, which remains the strongest measure of our progress.
And that was the Minister for Culture, Greta Roberts. 4 trade unions have come together to form the first ever Trade Union Congress for Dominica. The Public Service Union, Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Dominica Amalgamated Workers Union, and the Dominica Association of Teachers launched the new body at the Public Service Union this morning.
A process that has been underway for over 3 decades. 3 decades. But finally, we are here. An umbrella body of trade unions that will be unified in purpose, but will be that unified labor voice and force behind every worker and their families in Dominica, without eroding the independence of each member of the TUC. So let's be clear. Each union remains independent unions, but will now bring that unified voice under one umbrella organization.
And that was the chairman of the steering committee for the Trade Union Congress, Steve Joseph. Second Vice President of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Frederica Riley, told the launch of the Trade Union Congress that workers in Dominica will have greater representation with a Trade Union Congress.
This Congress is born from the shared understanding that our strength lies in the spirit of solidarity that has always been the backbone of the Dominica labor movement. It is a platform to amplify our concerns, advocate fiercely for fair wages, safe workplaces, and social justice, and to be the unwavering voice to build a brighter future for every worker and their family in every sector, from the fields to the office, the shops to the factories. Let this launch be our renewed commitment to stand together, to speak with one powerful voice, and to tirelessly champion the dignity and rights of all who contribute to our nation's progress. It is our promise to each other to support, to defend, and to advance together. The journey begins now. Let us move forward from this launch with resolve, ready to organize, to mobilize, and to fight for the fair and just Dominica we all deserve. United, we are unstoppable. Solidarity forever.
Second Vice President of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Frederica Riley. President of Dominica, Her Excellency Silvani Burton, has called for the revocation of the U.S. trade and economic embargo on the Republic of Cuba. The President's call came during her address at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York on Thursday. Her Excellency says Dominica continues to stand in solidarity with Cuba.
Madam President, the Commonwealth of Dominica, we continue to urge that the long-running, unjust, and illegal economic embargo against the people of Cuba be revoked. Maintaining this embargo is harmful, not only to the long-suffering people of Cuba, but also to the image and profile of its sponsors. Cuba, like every other country, has a right to its self-determination. Dominica continues to stand in solidarity with Cuba. The trade and economic embargo imposed against our brothers and sisters in Cuba continues to be of great concern to us in the Caribbean. Its lifting grows increasingly urgent. Therefore, the Commonwealth of Dominica once again joins its voices with the voices of the overwhelming majority of members of this global organization to call for the immediate lifting of trade restrictions and export bans imposed on the good people of Cuba. They are unjustifiable. They belong to a bygone era. They should cease to exist. They fall, in our view, within the grand narrative of yet another Caribbean people's struggle for liberation.
President Burton also condemned the U.S. sanctions on Venezuela.
Our steadfast advocacy for respect for the United Nations norms of sovereignty and non-interference impels us as well to urge that the right of the government and people of Venezuela to resolve internal challenges without outside interference be respected. We renew our condemnation of the imposition of sanctions on Venezuela. The resulting hardship forced upon the people of Venezuela needs an immediate and complete end. We also call for restrained and strict adherence to the rule of law as it relates to the presence of U.S. military assets in the blue waters of the Caribbean Sea. The solution to conflict, to challenges, should never be aggression and war. We urge that all diplomatic efforts be pursued to respect the sovereignty of states, preserve the dignity of human life, and promote peace.
And that was the President of Dominica, Her Excellency Silvani Burton. The Madam Wop Duet competition is making a return with 4 participants. The October 22nd competition at the Old Mill Cultural Center will see Cynthia Talbert of Pichler, Virginia Menz of Point Michel, Angelica Gasper of Casa Bruce, and Evelina Blah of Grand Bay and Maho. Still in the national focus, Dominica has recorded an increase in major trauma. That's according to anesthesiologist at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, Dr. Spencer St. Louis. Dominica will for the first time host a trauma symposium tomorrow at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital.
Currently we are experiencing, as over the past years, we are experiencing an increase in major trauma. And we also, in self-evaluation of our own processes, we recognize that there are also shortcomings, and therefore this symposium is aimed primarily at addressing some of these shortcomings and management, hereby hoping to improve patient care outcomes. The second purpose of this, which will be addressed during the very last segment of the symposium, is sensitization of the public to the implication and cascading effects of trauma, how it affects not only the individual who's involved, but the effect on caregivers, the fact that you need to mobilize primary caregivers, fire service, the police service, medical care personnel, the socio-economic impact of all of this on the society, and how we as a people have an important role in mitigation and reduction of the rate of major trauma.
And that was anesthesiologist at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, Dr. Spencer St. Louis. The Trauma Symposium panel will feature a number of doctors and specialists both here and abroad.
The title of which is The Domino Effect, Understanding Trauma and Its Impact. We are going to have a large faculty of speakers. Our keynote speaker is Dr. DeAndrea Joseph, who is a Dominican based in the United States, and she's an acute care surgeon. We also have faculty from the America-Canada Medical School in Portsmouth. We have Dominicans who live overseas, other than Dr. Joseph, who will be with us, namely Dr. Rhonda McIntyre, who works at Ross in Barbados, Dr. Geoffrey Lafort, who is an obstetrician in Barbados, and there are going to be some local faculty as well, Dr. Hazel Schillingford-Ricketts, Dr. Julian Diamas, and Dr. Jurado Iglesias, as well as Dr. Nadia Wallace.
And that was anesthesiologist at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, Dr. Becky John Baptist. A recognition awards ceremony and a hybrid panel discussion are among activities to commemorate the 2025 Teachers Week. Teachers Week will run from Sunday, September 28th to Friday, October 3rd. Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Association of Teachers is Juanita Caban.
The week's celebration will commence on Sunday 28th with prayer and thanksgiving at all churches. The National Executive will celebrate at the St. Alphonsus Catholic Church. On Monday 29th, there will be a live radio talk show on DBS Radio entitled A Voice for Teachers. Activities continue on Tuesday, the 30th. The first activity will be a hybrid panel discussion entitled Breaking the Silence, Masculinity and Mental Health for Men. In the afternoon from 4 p.m., there will be a basketball match between male teachers and the students at the Benjamins Park in Portsmouth. There will also be DAT in the streets. Members of the public will share tributes to impactful teachers.
The activities will continue with karaoke nights in various districts across Dominica.
On Wednesday, 1st October, teachers from the north will gather at Clara's Lounge in Picard from 7 p.m. for karaoke night. The teachers in the east and northeast will gather at Midway Cafe, Concord Highway, also for karaoke night. Thursday, 2nd, will be Teachers Appreciation Day. The general public is encouraged to show some form of appreciation to teachers on that day. In the evening from 7 p.m., teachers from the west and south will gather at the Realm, Michael's Courtyard, for their karaoke night. The week's activities will culminate with a grand Teachers' Day celebration. Teachers will gather at the Roseau Cathedral for the ecumenical service and recognition awards for teachers and schools. After the service, the day's celebration continues at the St. Gerard's Hall and SMA Courtyard with a talent showcase and social event.
And that was the Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Juanita Caban. Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Dr. Didicus Jules, has called on member states to urgently empower the teaching profession. His call came at the opening ceremony of the 10th meeting of the Council of Education Ministers of the OECS in Dominica. The meeting came to an end this afternoon at the State House Conference Center.
Digital transformation cannot succeed without human transformation. Teachers remain the heartbeat of education. Digitization is merely a tool, but the human element forever remains integral. And that is why we must move urgently to professionalize the teaching service. The time has come for us to establish national or regional teaching councils that elevate teaching to a profession of high standards, continuous learning, and prestige. Now, colleagues, this is not a technical option. It is a moral imperative. It is a targeted investment. If we expect teachers to prepare our children for the future, then we must prepare the teaching profession itself for the demands of this new era. I therefore urge every member state, every Ministry of Education, every teachers' union, and every stakeholder to summon the will to move decisively in this direction. Empowering the teaching profession is not the responsibility of teachers alone or ministries alone. It requires the full weight of government policy, union partnership, and societal respect. Let us be clear. Empowered teaching is not a slogan. It is the very foundation on which resilient and inclusive digital education will stand.
And that was the Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Dr. Didicus Jules, taking us to the end of this evening's National Focus. Up next is news from the region and international.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life is pumping. Together going strong. No matter what we keep exploring. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
And welcome back. Now news from the region. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister is calling on the United States to remove its military presence near Venezuela. Speaking during the morning session of the United Nations General Assembly today, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves told the Assembly that the recent ramping up of tensions between the USA and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela is most unhelpful to peace and stability in our Caribbean and Latin America. St. Vincent and the Grenadines calls for the scaling back of actions and rhetoric which are so inimical to cordial neighborly relations. Gonsalves says his country is deeply troubled by what he calls the foreign militarization of the waters. Internationally, Russia and China have expressed regret after the UN Security Council rejected their draft resolution to delay the reimposition of sanctions on Iran, as the US and UK defended the move as necessary. Russia's deputy ambassador to the UN said those members of the Security Council who supported this document reaffirmed their commitment to international law, to equitable and mutually respectful dialogue, and to the task of maintaining international peace and security. He argued that the adoption of this would have preserved a chance for the international community to reach a diplomatic resolution to the conflict in the context of the Iranian nuclear program. He urged the U.S. to demonstrate political will by responding positively to Iran's proposal to resume talks and committing unequivocally to refrain from further military strikes against Iran. This brings us to the end of this evening's news. Up next is sports.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
At Flow, loyalty pays back. That's why we're rewarding our customers with $400 in vouchers. That's like 5 months of your mobile bill back in your pocket. Simply add mobile to your current home internet plan and claim your $400 in rewards today. Loyalty pays back. That's how we keep your rhythm flowing.
And welcome to your DBS Evening Sports for today, September 26, 2025. First off, the West Indies Test team has been dealt a major blow with star pacer Shamar Joseph being ruled out of the entire Indian series after picking up an injury. The 2-test series gets underway on October 2nd. The West Indies have named Johan Lane as Shamar Joseph's replacement. Joseph will be re-evaluated ahead of the Bangladesh Limited Overseas Series, or OVERS Series. The West Indies arrived in India earlier this week and will stage their first training session on Saturday morning. Still in cricket, Cricket West Indies Director of Cricket, Miles Bascom, has confirmed that former West Indies coach Andre Kohli remains in the board's plans for future coaching opportunities. Bascom clarified the position on Kohli following the appointment of Jamaican duo Nikita Miller and Jerome Taylor on the Nepal 2020 tour squad coaching staff under Guyanese Rayon Griffith. CWI replaced Kohli as a test coach in December 2024 for Darren Sammy. Kohli was recently head coach of the West Indies A-team versus South Africa A-team in May and June.
We've had, extensive conversations with Andre following his departure. He identified a few areas that he had intentions of going into posts. But he did the 18 series before the end of his contract. And we will continue to have conversations with Kohli. He has reiterated time and time again that he is always prepared to lend a hand when needed. And we have will definitely keep him under consideration for future opportunity.
And that was a Cricket West Indies Director of Cricket, Miles Bascom. West Indies T20 captain Akil Hussain says the senior players in the Windies setup have to be prepared to shoulder responsibilities as the West Indies face Nepal in a 3-match T20 series starting Saturday in the United Arab Emirates. Hussain will captain the Windies team, which will be without a number of first-team players. Former West Indies captain Jason Holder joins Hussain in the 15-man squad with other experienced players including all-rounder Fabian Allen, opener Kyle Mayers, and left-arm seamer Obed McCoy. However, the team for Nepal is largely an untested one with as many as 6 uncapped players in the T20 format for the West Indies. The first T20 gets underway at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, Caribbean time. The Police Sports Club will be looking for their 3rd straight win to start the Central Cooperative Credit Union Dominica Cricket Association's Intermediate Cricket League as that tournament continues this weekend. Also looking for win number 3 will be the Starlights Cricket Club, while the Emerald Stars will be out to show that last weekend's win was no fluke as the ladies take to the field this weekend as well.
The Dominica Cricket Association Central Cooperative Credit Union 2025 Intermediate League continues this weekend. Saturday, September 27th, it's a triple header. KFC Summits versus Jungle Bay Gallia Hurricanes at the Geneva Playing Field, Dublin versus Starlights at the Botanic Gardens, and the DCA Emerald Stars versus Gladiators at Benjamin's Park. On Sunday, September 28th, DCA Emerald Stars versus Kalinago Blasters at the Botanic Gardens, and Police Sports Club versus Nachiko Northern Stars at Benjamin's Park.
And that was PRO of the Dominica Cricket Association, Kimara Ito. Into some basketball, the 2025 DABA Division 1 basketball title could be decided tonight as the Dr. Dara Pishle Sports Club Falcons will meet the West Coast Ballers in Game 3 of their 5-match series in the Massac Indoor Facility. The Falcons are leading the 5-match series 2-0 with Game 3 set for 8 p.m. tonight. West Coast Ballers head coach Curlin Look says tonight is win or go home, and her team will put up the fight to extend the series.
Well, like I said, win or go home, so that's what, we just have to come put our best foot forward. We've been strategizing different plays and so forth, so we're just going to come out and play hard.
Game 1, it was Zach Bastian who dominated. Game 2, it was Kareem Daniel. What sort of adjustments do you think you can make now for Game 3?
But we just have to stop them from getting to the basket, the easy baskets that we had, just stop the drive to the basket. So we have to do our best to contain that.
And how can you get your guys more involved offensively, especially Shalon, your main scorers, Dean?
Yeah, well, we're missing too many easy baskets, so we have to take care of the ball and make sure that we make our easy baskets. So that has been a thorn in our flesh, so we have to just take care of the ball better.
All right, final words to the team, to the community as well, as you have this big game. What will be the message?
We're not going out without a fight. So we are going to stretch the series to 5 games, so we're not going out without a fight.
And that was West Coast Ballers head coach Curlin Luke. Meantime, Falcons player Dwight Timothy says while the club has some injury concerns, he feels the Falcons can close out the series.
Right now, we have a few key injuries, but we're not letting that get in the way of what we have to do. Like we have been in the finals last year. We lost by 1 point in Game 5 to the Blazers. And a lot of the guys this year, they are hungry, they're thirsty. So the game plan is to just come out hard, start off strong early, and build a momentum from there.
It's likely Yawani Regis might be unavailable. We heard of the unfortunate incident that he was involved in this week. How much of a blow is this to the team?
Well, this is a major blow because he's our main point guard. But we have 2 other point guards in Mishak Dubule and Keoma Telemak that can, fill in the gap, and they just have to step up.
In Game 2, Kareem Daniel really imposed himself, the big man. How much of a key do you think he will be in Game 3?
Well, right now he's also nursing an injury, like I said, but he will be available for the game, and he's also eager to make an impact like the last game. Knowing that the other key players may be out, I definitely believe that he will step up as well.
What will be the message to Falcon Nation? Game 3, an opportunity to go home with the championship.
Well, so we're just urging all the fans from Pishley and surrounding environs to come out and support the young guys. They need that motivation and extra boost to take it home.
And that was the Dr. Dara Pishle Sports Club Falcons player Dwight Timothy. Meantime, in the Premier League division, the BAA Sharks took a huge step towards securing the top seed heading into the playoffs as they edged out the Paybush Super Eagles in a tight match last night at the Massac Indoor Facility. The Sharks won the match by 73-69. Nesta James got 21, Jaden Scotland 17, and Christian Scotland 11 for the Sharks. While Siobhan Seaman scored 22, Dave Alexis 17, Lennon Paul and Kaylin Paul had 11 points each. The win moves the Sharks into a first-place tie with the Detroit Blazers on 27 points. First place will be decided when the 2 teams meet on Saturday. In more sports this evening, the Belfast Estate Maho Soca Strikers will meet Promex Harlem United in the opening match of the DFA's President's Cup, which gets underway in October. This following the official team draw on Thursday afternoon with the DFA Technical Center. The President's Cup is set to get underway October 8th. This year we'll see 2 separate competitions with a knockout tournament for the Premier Division and a separate knockout for the Division 1 teams. DFA President Glenn Etienne says there is also an FA Cup involving the top teams in the President's Cup.
And we're having two President's Cup. We're having a President's Cup for the Premier clubs, and we are having a President's Cup for the Division 1. And even after the President's Cup of both Premier and Division 1, we will have an FA Cup, which the 4 top teams of the President Cup and the 4 top team of the Division 1 will come together again and have an FA Cup. What we want is footballers to play plenty of football, we're going to say it that way, because the more you play football, the better you develop your craft, and it will help all of us in terms of our national team. I want to also echo that we have Series A coming up soon in the next couple of months, in November, where Dominica is participating in Series A. So that, again, will help our players to develop their craft, develop their football skill, hence we can represent Dominica. I also want to caution all the players playing in this particular league that they need to get themselves familiarized with the regulations. It is very important to get yourself familiarized with the regulation. I hope we had the opportunity, but in the future that we normally speak to the head persons of various clubs, but sometimes I think the DFA needs to go a bit lower down and invite the players, the footballers themselves, so we can have a one-on-one dialogue with them. Because a lot of times I think the regulations are there, but persons are not familiarizing themselves with the regulations, hence they get themselves into foul trouble, and the whole onus is not for the DFA to punish any club, but there must be rules and regulation.
And that was DFA's President Glenn Etienne. LA Stars will play Bafa State FC in the first match in the Division 1's President's Cup. This brings us to the end of this evening's News and Sports. A special thanks to the DBS News and Sports team and Link personnel, DJ Haleboy.
At Flow, loyalty pays back. That's why we're rewarding our customers with $400 in vouchers. That's like 5 months of your mobile bill back in your pocket. Simply add mobile to your current home internet plan and claim your $400 in rewards today. Loyalty pays back. That's how we keep your rhythm flowing.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 26th day of September 2025. We'll begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Death Announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We announce the death of Dorana Miriam Edwards, better known as Dora, age 87, of Marigot, who resided in Curacao. She died on Saturday, the 16th of September in Curacao. The funeral arrangements for the late Dorana Miriam Edwards, better known as Dora, of Marigot, who resided in Curacao, will be given in a subsequent announcement. We announce the death of Carol Matthew Langley, age 61, of Roseau, who resided in Qualiho. She died on Tuesday, the 9th of September. She was the wife of Russell Flint Langley. She was the daughter of Vernie Philogen. She was the mother of Brenton Julian, Cheyenne Joseph, Jared Sebastian, and Tarquan Langley. She will also be remembered by her grandchildren, Regina Charles and Kelani Sebastian. Her brothers Brian and Vernon Matthew, her sisters Alanita James, Judith, Shirley, Marilyn, Marvelyn, Merlin, and Florette Matthew, her aunts Leandra Philogen, Joyce John Baptist, Urelyn Philogen, and Dolly Matthew, uncles Nicholas Roberts, Orlance Philogen, her nephews Ricky, Kurt, Jervon, Jermaine, Alian, and other names too numerous to mention. Parents-in-law Kenrick and Marilyn Langley, her godmother Merlin John Baptist, brother-in-law Jimmy Langley, cousins Sharon Grace, Eddie, Adam, Mary, Ivenia, Destiny, Cody, Chesney, Emran, Gathelin, Svelta, and other names too numerous to mention. Her in-laws, Greta, Wiesel, Father Branca John, Beverly, Shizel, and Norma. Close family and friends, Kimara, Anel, Annie, Grogia, Lottie, Bernadette, Cordelia,